And today we have a reading for you about somebody who is very focused on you, probably watching your social media, or maybe actually has the ability to see you semi regularly, especially if this is like someone who you work with that has a crush on you. But I feel like this is insight into somebody wanting to find a way to have a conversation with you face to face and, away from other people. Whether that means this person has to travel a long distance to be able to have that conversation or just show up at your office door. I do think that they're kind of obsessing over what would I say if I had that chance and what would the reaction be if I told you how I feel. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. And I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. Hello, April. Hello, Nat. Hello, James. Hello, Laughlin. How we doing? Welcome back. Let's see. I think we will start with the graffiti tarot today. All right, what else do we need to know about this person who is watching the collective? What else? Ace of Cups. They love you. Oh my. Ace of Cups, the Sun, and the Lovers. Yeah, this is someone who is very convinced that the two of you are meant to be together. You make this person incredibly happy. The Ace of Cups, for me, is coming through as I know that this is the kind of person that I would be able to be in a really good relationship with, or this is, a soulmate, a divine counterpart, whatever their term is that they think of. They feel like you're the person that they've been looking for. Hello, other James. How's it going? Yes, that is accurate. We've got the High Priestess. This person has been secretive. 9 of Pentacles. This is also, both of these cards can talk about intuition. The High Priestess and the 9 of Pentacles. The High Priestess is also a pretty awesome depiction. I feel like we have someone who genuinely feels like you are the right person for them to spend their life with. They follow their intuition, but with the King of Swords in the reverse, I'm a little bit worried that we have someone who's not really taking into consideration how you feel about things. Because maybe you could imagine having a really great relationship with somebody, but if they ain't interested in you, that relationship's not going to happen. So you're coming through as this Queen of Pentacles. Doesn't matter what your gender is. This is talking about your value. This is saying somebody looks at you as marriage material, or someone they would bring home to meet the family, or someone they want to start a family with. So they're thinking about, how can I get to where you are and finally talk about this desire or this like knowledge that I have that you're the person I want to be with. 10 of Cups. Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Earth Angel. How are we doing? And the 2 Swords, the Chariot, and the 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay. Why do I feel like this is somebody you don't really know? I feel like you might be a little bit like awkward if this person were to confess their feelings and say they want to like live with you, they want to be with you forever and ever. This person is absolutely making a choice here. I want to see you face to face and make my offer so that, you look me in my face when we talk about this. But with the 5 of Pentacles being in the reverse, I don't know. It's like they feel like you automatically feel the way that you do. They don't feel like they could lose. Nine of Swords in the reverse, the Star in the reverse. I feel like we kind of have somebody here who doesn't have a good grasp on what you want. I kind of feel like this is someone who lives in their own world a little bit. They talk to you a lot. Maybe they appreciate how you help them out at work, or maybe you've, helped them out with a ride home every once in a while, or maybe you're a really great friend to, their brother. I don't know. But this is somebody who seems to think that the affections are returned, and I don't feel like you do. I don't feel like you're interested or know that this person is interested in you. Three of Wands in the reverse and the Eight of Wands. You're about to know. This person's going to tell you. I think they're showing up and confessing. And perhaps a little bit unrealistic in terms of how they expect you to respond. This is the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot. It happens. Hello, Becky. How are you doing? Hello, Joaquin. I hope you do too. We've got the Chariot in the reverse. The Moon. And the Five of Swords. I think there's there's a block here. There's something like, I can't date you because like I'm your boss, or I can't date you because, you just broke up with my sister. There's something here where it's like, no, I don't think that would be the right approach. And I don't feel like it's appropriate to even talk about. For some of you, it could just be that you're, already in a relationship, or you are interested in talking to somebody else. I just feel like when this person confesses their emotions, it leads to the Five of Swords, where they feel like things are hectic, chaotic, problematic. Like, oh, I misread that situation. Because I do feel like they're a little bit delusional here, thinking that when they come through riding on their, big horse and saying, oh, I got tons of feelings for you, that you're going to be like, oh, cool, can we get married tomorrow? Devil in the reverse. They're going to find out that the obsession is not returned. The affection is not reciprocated. So it's going to be, I think, kind of difficult for them to understand that, because they have, for some reason, like kind of talked themselves into believing that, you're asking them how their weekend is every Monday morning somehow equates to like you're in love with them too, like, oh, you wore my favorite color, we're soulmates, No. Hello, Rob, how are you doing? Hello, Jamie. Hello, Yakima. Hello, Ruben. Hello, Redbeard. How we doing? Appropriate emoji. Hello, Betty. Hello. Is it Callan? How are you doing? We have the Page of Cups. Ace of Wands. Excuse me. Ace of Wands in the reverse. And the Three of Cups. Yeah. There is a social or like professional block here. I know somebody that you used to date, so I feel like that's not something that I should pursue. Or I literally have like a contract with my employer that I can't date people that I work with. Either way, I feel like there is not affection returned, and this person, when they come through to like confess these feelings, they're not going to have a very good response, because they have this like very high expectation. It's like when I tell you that I have feelings, you're just going to like jump into my arms and like say, let's be in a relationship, right? No. Might ask you what time it is, or if you're crazy. I feel like whoever gets this confession, they're kind of like, Why did you have to like make everything awkward now? You know? What else do we have? Temperance. Page of Swords in the reverse. 5 of Cups. And the King of Pentacles in the reverse. More and more this is feeling like this could be a workplace or like a, maybe for some this is like a high school or college situation. But this is someone who is not willing to see the blocks or the obstacles to this relationship. They're also not reading the room very well in terms of whether or not you're interested. They might be misreading your general like kindness or friendliness, or even if you work at a job where you have to be hospitable, they might take that as you flirting with them and they're like, of course this person is gonna love it. They're gonna be so excited when I tell them that I'm like head over heels in love and want to move in. No. Now we have someone who's regretting confessing their emotions, because with the King of Pentacles in the reverse, it leads to instability or drama. I think this is threatening someone's job is the real reason we have the King of Pentacles in the reverse. So if somebody has, you know, expressed interest in a person that is like their direct report or their boss, whatever it might be, it's like, now we might have to talk to HR. Like, why couldn't you have just kept that to yourself? Why did you have to go and like make things awkward, right? So we have the Tower and the Two of Pentacles. Someone is being presented a choice. If this is indeed a workplace crush that someone confesses, it could be, you know, hey, this is an inappropriate type of conversation, and I feel like the employee handbook was very clear that you're not supposed to fraternize. Do you know what that really means? So we need you to either turn in your resignation, or you're going to have to switch to a different department and take a little bit of a pay cut, because we can't have you working together anymore. There's something like that where it's not a very good choice. It's like, okay, well, you didn't really consider what was going on here or what was at risk or how that other person actually felt. So there's some weirdness. If this isn't work, I feel like this is that person who may have dated previously, the crush, finding out like, hey, I thought we were friends, or I thought I could trust, you know, my sibling, but here you are hitting on my ex. Like, what are you going to do to repair the damage that you've done with that choice? 8 of Swords, 2 of Wands. So this person who has confessed their emotions in a situation where it probably would have been better just to keep it quiet, now they have to take a little bit of time to themselves and think about a not so great decision. Do I find a new job? Do I move out? Do I apologize to my friend? Do I have to go make a whole new group of friends? Like, how much of this have I actually ruined? Hello, Melinda. How are you doing? Hello, Holy Ghost. That's good. This is What's the News? Oh. See, this just makes me think it's still like a workplace situation. This person thought that they could sneak around for a little bit with you and nobody would know what was going on, and then maybe things could get serious. You know, that person will get over it, or, you know, I can find a new job eventually, no big deal. The problem is, I also feel like this person got a little bit too, I think they used to say fresh. Probably said something inappropriate. Like, this could literally just be HR having a nice little sit down with somebody, right? That pop-up card could be HR knocking on someone's office like, hey, I heard something about you saying that you would, no, I'm not even gonna like use an example because I don't want to like trigger anybody. There's some inappropriate things that people say in professional workplaces, but I do think since we have the kinky card coming out, there was something presumptuous, right? I feel like you have emotions for me too. I feel like when I confess my emotions, you're going to be excited about it. So that could probably lend itself pretty easily to someone assuming that it was okay for them to say something inappropriate about their physical attraction. You know what? It's always a good thing to know for sure when you do things like that, isn't it? Especially if you have a job at risk. So now we have an uncomfortable conversation about how this person has stated their interest in the Queen of Pentacles. Key player, important person, playing an essential role, irreplaceable. I feel like this is work. We can't really afford to lose this person, but we have to do something to move them away from the Queen of Pentacles, because now there's like a risk or a problem here as far as professional conduct at the office. This is clearly somebody who feels like they're very attracted or wants, you know, a long-term relationship with this person, so we can't have them, you know, one reporting to the other. Reading up, doing the research, learning more, and gaining insight. Snack, obsession, physical attraction, and sex appeal. Yeah. I feel this is a mentor or a boss or somebody who was, you know, just trying to make it a little bit easier for them, getting their work tasks completed, and someone has misinterpreted that friendly or helpful energy as, oh, you must be in love with me too. You think about me naked too, right? No, no, they don't. They've been trying to work and they're just trying to be like a decent, like, you know, employee. And then this awkward conversation happens apparently. Bonnie and Clyde, ride or die, us against the world, dedicated partnership, masculine pride, toxic masculinity, meeting manly expectations. So depending on what the actual genders of the individuals involved in your story are, this could be somebody who was leveraging, you know, their toxic side and expecting that they could get what they want if they were in a position of power. We could have somebody who expected, probably a man, to give in to temptation or be physically attracted to them, even though, you know, they have self-control. But we have this, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to pursue this person that I know I probably shouldn't because I think they like me back. This person needs to pay closer attention. I feel like they convinced themselves that their intuition was spot on when it really wasn't. It was just them trying to justify what they wanted to do to pursue this person. But it is not going well. Hello, Jamie. How are you doing? It might be the boss then. There is no HR, only consequence. All right, so we have the Nine of Swords in the reverse and the Sun in the reverse. I wish I hadn't ever said anything. I made, you know, a difficult situation for myself and all I had to do was be quiet. But because I was so determined to find a way to be with this person, now I'm realizing that I have a difficult choice. I have to potentially quit my job or take a little bit of a pay cut. Maybe there's like a written warning or something. Four of Swords, High Priestess, and the Hierophant in the reverse. I feel like this is somebody who could be like an individual contributor after they have been a leader or a boss, like demoted. You probably shouldn't have done that. Especially if they were in a position of more power than the person that they were confessing their emotions to. This is just like, yeah, you broke the rules. You signed that employee handbook and then you decided to try to use the workplace to like find your next little like, you know, boo thing. There could be legal consequences if that, you know, employee handbook or if the things signed at, you know, hire clearly stipulate that you cannot do this. Hanged Man in the reverse and the Queen of Wands. But this person was just so attractive and it just felt like there was a real connection there. They're still trying to justify it. Two of Cups. I love this person, and if they get to know me, I'm sure they would love me too. I don't think they're accepting this no. I think they want to like lean into the delusion a little bit. This is someone who feels like they have gone through some serious spiritual awakening and that their intuition is like laser sharp. Is that razor sharp? Lasers can cut things, right? This is somebody who imagines themselves to be much more intuitive or much more on top of things than they are, okay? So being told that they are wrong is like a, oh, what? That hasn't happened for 17 years. Impossible. Hello, Scummy. How are you doing? Hello, Shane. Yes, I agree with that, Scummy. Hello, ZX. How we doing? So we've got the King of Wands and the Ten of Wands in the reverse. So this pursuit of someone that they are very attracted to and they were convinced this person was also quite interested in them has now become something that is quite a struggle or a burden to this person. And I do think that it impacts their financial situation. So that's just making it seem all the more likely that we're dealing with a workplace crush here. What do we want? We will go with the Thoth Tarot. Ooh, almost dropped it. Hello, Mark. How are you doing? Hello, WWE. What's up? Hey, Jeremy. Please don't call me that. My name's Carmen. Hello, Santiago. How are you doing? Hello, Lemonade. What's up? Oh, my condolences, WWE. I hope you can find some healing with that, but I'm so sorry. Hello, Rapper. How you doing? So we've got the Fool. And the Four of Wands in the reverse. I'm telling you, someone either gets fired or gets demoted. You took a chance on something. You felt so certain that that person was also interested in you, but you misread the room. Look, I've been a server, I've been a bartender, and I obviously have also had a lot of friends or coworkers that worked in that industry. And there are way too many people out there that are like, oh my gosh, did you see the way that person smiled when they dropped off my beverage for me? They must be in love with me. No, honey, they literally get paid to be nice to you. They are being nice to you because, at least in the United States, you tip them at the end and they would like you to leave dollars upon dollars upon dollars and like maybe even like, you know, a good review. That's why they're being nice to you. This feels to me like somebody was being nice to a boss or somebody like misread a person who was being polite and took that as, so when do you want to get naked? Like, no. So the Four of Wands in the reverse is, on this card, it literally says luxury, and it's in the reverse. So this person is losing out on finances, up to and possibly losing their job because they did something that they should have known better. They should have known, hey, if I actually look at the employee handbook and see that this is something that could get me fired, maybe I would, you know, make a different choice. Or if I thought back on how I was looking at the situation 3 beers ago, I might be able to deduce that this person is not actually flirting with me. They're just trying to like do their job, you know? Hey Ben, the wind chimes happen every reading at the beginning, so feel free to rewind and watch from the beginning. Hello Jerry, how are you doing? Hello Rex, how's your day? So we've got the Five of Discs in the reverse, which is the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. Someone goes from feeling like absolutely not worried at all, like, oh, this person's gonna love it, they're gonna be so on board, I can tell they think I'm so hot, They like the car I drive, or they think I look great in those high heels, whatever it is, they were convinced, right? And now that, of course, they want me energy has turned into, oh, what have I done? I have really stepped in it this time. Damn, we're in a tight spot. Hello, sweet. How you doing? Okay. Yes, exactly. What else do we have? The Ace of Wands. Okay, this is somebody who's horny, okay? This is somebody who's thirsty. We did have the Kinky Ways card come out. Hi, babe. This is someone who was not very great with self-control, someone who kind of tossed out the rules that they knew they needed to follow or decided they weren't really that important to them because they were overwhelmed with how attracted they are to you. And it's making me think of that, what's that show? How I Met Your Mother. There's an episode where Ted has a stalker. So this is kind of perfect. And over again, she explains her increasingly creepy activity as I just couldn't imagine, or I don't know, couldn't think like that I would never get to see you again. So I just had to do that. And Ted keeps saying, oh, that's really sweet. You know, that's okay. I don't mind if, you know, you called my place of business to figure out where I live. You know, whatever it was that is actually creepy. The argument in the episode is if you're attracted to that person, all of a sudden it's less creepy because you're like, oh, okay, I like that. This is not that thing. This is someone who's just being creepy. Which actually, at the end of the episode, I think we did find out that they all agreed that she was creepy. Hello. Can I call you Jay? Or is it Giantuku? Giantuku? I'm probably messing it up and I apologize. I don't know what the episode is called, but I do remember that the chick that Ted was being stalked by was a blonde chick. Almost looks like the chick from Big Bang Theory, but not really. That'll help, right? We have the Princess or Page of Discs in the reverse. I love this card because, look, the Princess or the Page of Wands in the upright position is a lot like the phrase in construction that you should always measure twice and cut once. If you don't have appropriate measurements, or if you don't read the room, if you're not really astute at picking up whether or not somebody returns your affections, then maybe don't do something that risks your job, assuming that somebody has affections for you, right? Hello, Mike. How are you doing? Jayanta. Okay. I hope I said that right. Hello, Apoka. How are you doing? Oh, I'm definitely not a blonde. Nice try. No, I actually did used to dye my hair quite a lot, but haven't in probably 5 years. Yeah. Just kind of figured it was maybe not good for the hair. We have the Knight of Cups. So I'm going to take a leap of faith and express that I'm interested in somebody that I know I shouldn't be interested in because I'm that confident or arrogant that this person returns my affections or interest. Of course they want me kind of energy, right? No, they don't. The response to the of course they want me is the Three of Swords. Do you see what it says at the bottom? Sorrow. Now I'm hearing I'm a man of constant sorrow. Oh, such a good song. I am not going to sing it for you. I'm sorry. It's too bluegrass. We've got the Hanged Man in the reverse. Stubborn energy, arrogant energy, overly confident, misreading the room, certain that rules don't really apply to them. Man, what a catch. I don't know, man. Hello, Tandy. How are you doing? Hello, Nelly. How's your day? Hey, Justin. You should only keep one, and only if that person treats you well and you can treat them well. So we've got the Knight of Swords in the reverse and the Four of Wands. Hold on, you guys. I misread this one. This was the Four of Cups in the reverse, and I thought it was the Four of Wands in the reverse. We got it anyways. Anyone want to make a joke about the fact that it says completion on here? Oh, that's funny. And it's in the reverse. Someone does not get to do what they were hoping to do with you. Or whoever this is. Maybe you're just an innocent bystander and you're like, hey, did you hear like the office tea? It's piping hot. This is someone who gets rejected. This is somebody who might get written up or even lose their job. And they're over here thinking about like, oh man, I really thought I was going to get laid tomorrow. I don't feel bad for this one. You got to read the room, okay? Like, we have eyes for a reason. We have ears for a reason. No negative sentiment whatsoever to those of you that like would suggest that that's ableist. I'm just saying we have senses that we can use, and when we have those senses, we have to pick up on, hey, is this an appropriate moment for me to hit on this person? Is this somebody who actually returns those affections or would potentially be interested? And maybe, just maybe, is this an action that could get me fired? Because this person didn't really think about that. And now with the Star, it's like they were so fixated on how much they like you and how perfect you are for what they're looking for, that they're learning this lesson to teach them that they also have to be able to use their intuition regarding how other people feel and what the expectations are, and whether or not their employee handbook says specifically that they are not allowed to date coworkers. Hello, Danny. Hello, Slidem. How we doing? All right. Last one from this deck, we've got the Two of Swords. This is interesting because this Thoth Tarot is a little bit different. I don't normally look at the Two of Swords as peace, but I could probably make some funny jokes here regarding this person's thirstiness. But I do feel like with this Two of Swords, this is more so saying, now that you have expressed this interest in somebody that is not really going to be tolerated, whether you hit on your sibling's ex-fiance or hit on your, direct report, there's going to be some sort of obstacle now. This person's going to work in a different department, or you're going to work in a different department, or your, crush is blocking you, maybe even your sibling if you decided to hit on their ex-fiance. This is like, ugh. Did I do that? That didn't go very well. Oops. All right, let's get a few from the Love Tarot. Ooh, it's 3333 rated. Hello, M. How are you doing? Hello, Golden. Hello, Ellen. How's your day? Yes, thank you for liking and subscribing. It means a lot to me. Did I miss saying hello to anyone? I think we're good. All right, so we have soon. I'm going to contact you soon. I think this is someone who doesn't necessarily learn their lesson the first time around. If this person gets moved to a different department, or if this person no longer is working there or gets blocked, I do feel like they're going to struggle to let go of this obsession. I do think that they're going to try to find another way to connect, because they have kind of entrenched this concept of the Queen of Pentacles being their soulmate. I've been dreaming about you. In my dreams, we are so free and in love. I wish I could stay there forever, because it's not real life. They can't actually have this, and they're not willing to let go of that daydream that this person would end up being their partner. No, Ben. So we have missing you. I miss you, and I wish things were different. I miss like working with you or having like a totally innocuous reason to like see you. Innocent and nothing to do with my, you know, fantasies about you. No, this is somebody who's struggling to accept that they have kind of had the book thrown at them, or they have been talked to a little bit harshly about how they approached their crush and the fact that it was not appropriate. Let me go. You deserve all the good things in this world, and right now I'm not in a space to give you the type of connection you deserve. Live your life and let me go. So the Queen of Pentacles makes it quite clear, this is not what I want. I need you to move on. I think we can just kind of put this behind us now. But they came out as the High Priestess. What else did I call you? And we had the Five of Cups a few times. The person who's a little bit delusional here, who may be getting fired, is not updating their perspective here. It's just like, man, that didn't go very well. Maybe it was the wrong time. Maybe if I'm not working there anymore, then we can actually be together. Or, you know, I'm sure that person's relationship is about to end anyways, and then they're going to make room for me because this is, I'm so certain of it, this is my soulmate. So they're not taking a hint. They're not updating their expectations to reflect that this Queen of Pentacles is not going to be theirs. They're just concentrating on the fact that when they compare this Queen of Pentacles to anybody else they have a chance or a, you know, option to pursue, they don't measure up to the Queen of Pentacles. So it's just kind of like, well, I can't change my mind because that's the person I've decided I want. So yeah, I would say this is pretty squarely in creepy territory, as far as not being willing to understand whether or not somebody is actually returning those affections. Everly Brothers? Is it? You think so? And didn't they do Wake Up Little Susie? I like it. I just like threw all of my cards, you guys. This is okay. Hold on. I don't know if you guys got to watch my facial reaction. I have to imagine it was pretty entertaining. Okay, we got them all. We have the bear and the clouds. So this feels to me like we have somebody who's sitting here frolicking in the woods, collecting flowers, or I don't know, picking berries, frolicking without a care, right? And not realizing that they are being stalked by a bear. Now, I think it's easy to look at that and say, okay, so is the person who's confessing their emotions, are they the bear? You could argue that. I think it's more so that the person who was living in delusion, the person who didn't want to be honest with themselves about whether or not there was actually a chance of the two of you being together, I think they were unwilling to admit that there was a risk here, or that there could be some consequences, including maybe getting fired or getting like kicked out of the social group because they were inappropriate, you know? We've got somebody who didn't realize that there was a danger for them to be so obsessed or careless with this. You know, you got to figure out the information you have access to. How does that inform your actions? This was somebody who is like, they prefer to have a blindfold and not recognize all the blocks or obstacles. The tower in the Lenormand is different from the tower in tarot. It's more so about an organization. So this seems to be confirmation that we have a workplace confession, something that may even say if you try to fraternize or you try to date somebody that you're working with, you may lose your job. Ooh. I hope you're safe. Hello, Lisa. How are you doing? So we have number 28, man, and this probably ties back to that toxic masculinity card. I'm not trying to say that all men are toxic, please don't misunderstand, but there is some element here of toxic assumption, right? I am this, therefore, of course you want me, or I look like that, so how could you not be attracted to me? Or if I say that I'm interested, of course you would say yes, right? There have been a few readings where I've talked about how a lot of people make the assumption that if you were randomly to encounter some really attractive celebrity, whatever one comes to mind for you, that, you know, of course, yeah, I would have to at least consider it. You know, hall pass is a thing for some people. I more, I would be more so the type to enjoy rejecting somebody who, as a celebrity, probably expects people to be like, oh, you're so hot, and I can't wait to tell people that I dropped my drawers for you. No, man, I'd rather tell a story about, like, yeah, that person hit on me, and I said no. You should have seen the look on their face. I'm sorry. I think you have to, like, work a little bit more to get that kind of connection with somebody. I don't know. This is someone who expected whoever they are, or, you know, stating what I want. Of course you're going to want it. Hello, Kaylee. How are you doing? Yes, I agree with that. This is the Gypsy Oracle. Let's see what else we've got for you. And thank you for liking. I appreciate it, guys. What else? So we have the Wife card. This is how they view their crush, even after they've been told that they need to, like, keep it moving or keep it to themselves. This is looking to me like this person's not going to change their mind. They're going to wait and see if, you know, in a couple weeks or in a couple months, the decision is going to be different. They still feel like this Queen of Pentacles is their soulmate or the person that they are meant to be with. They feel like they can prove that they would be a good partner, but I also think that this is someone who feels like they can prove that through, like, buying you things, or, hey, I'll introduce you to somebody cool. I don't know that there's much substance here with this person who's confessing their emotions. It kind of just feels a little bit empty. Like they don't really think about the emotional connection so much as, hey, everybody, meet the person that I'm currently boinking. I don't think they really get comfortable with their emotions. And that's limiting. None whatsoever, VW. Hello, how's it going, Shashi? I hope you're having a good day. I think I already said hello to M, didn't I? I hope so. What else? I have the Chariot in the reverse, the Nine of Swords. Now they're dealing with some anxiety, some frustration, realizing that they took things too far. They're still not willing to let go of this, like, knowledge, like, I know we would be a good couple. But they're realizing that they probably needed to think about things a little bit more or take a different approach, that they kind of made things a problem for themselves. The Star in the reverse, the Three of Wands, King of Wands. I just don't know that this is someone who's going to change their perception of the situation. It's like, okay, I understand that there are, like, barriers or obstacles. I understand that, like, my employer or your employer or my friends or your family or whatever don't want us to be together, but I'll wait it out. It'll change in a little bit. They don't want to give up on the actual connection that isn't, like, a connection at all. Nine of Pentacles, they feel like you are very physically attractive. They feel like it's maybe just been the wrong timing, and they can, you know, go back to kind of being quiet about it for a little bit and find another opportunity in the future. This is someone who's, like, literally saying to themselves, you know what? That's cool. I'll just like take a smoke break and yeah, I'll come back in like 3 months. Not wanting to accept that the reality is they're never going to get what they want. They're never going to have this relationship. It's just like not of interest to the person that they've confessed their emotions to. I don't know what that means, but okay. All right, so we have the Seven of Swords in the reverse, the Empress, the Three of Wands in the reverse, Moon in the reverse, the Star, and the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. So I'm going to continue to harbor these, you know, fantasies or expectations that are unrealistic with a person that I've put on a pedestal and I feel is my soulmate, but I can't take action right now because people are getting in the way. They might be kind of like romanticizing the fact that the two of you can't be together right now and thinking, you know what, once things settle down, once I find a new job, or once, you know, my brother stops being mad at me, then I can come back around and we'll see what happens then. They're not willing to actually admit that this is not going to happen. Hello, Peter. This is a general reading. If it doesn't resonate for you, then it's not for you. But if it does, then, you know, pull up a chair. Hello, Dwight. How are you doing? Wow. So Five of Swords keeps coming up. In fact, one thing I wanted to point out, this is the Nine of Swords, okay? Not the Five of Swords. But do you see what is right here? It's a mini Five of Swords. I don't know if the Five of Swords came out in that deck as well, but I think it did down here. There's you know, a little difference here, but you can see in the Five of Swords, you've got somebody holding up the sword and two people walking away, just like in this little mini picture over here. This person is thinking about how they effed up. I know I did that. I know I made things a little bit more complicated. Whoops. But at the same time, still not learning the lesson that they need to from it. It's like, oh, I guess like that was bad, but I don't want to like stop feeling like I'm in love with this person or looking at them as my soulmate. They don't want to let go. Knight of Wands in the reverse, King of Pentacles in the reverse. I just don't think this person is grounded in reality. They'd rather live in like a fantasy land where they get to be with this Empress, Queen of Pentacles energy. They don't want to be told otherwise. Nine of Swords in the reverse, Queen of Swords, and Justice. So I do feel like this is going to escalate if this person still is just like working for the same company but for a different department. There could continue to be some issues, or if this is someone who's within the same social community, there could be multiple like arguments or awkward moments that happen until finally somebody maybe just kind of like, hey man, you're gonna have to like really look at the situation for what it is instead of living in like your imagination, right? All right, we'll get a few from the Overthinker's Oracle and then we'll call it a day. What else do we have? This is someone who feels like the two of you are twin flames or, like I said, soulmates, but they're leaning into this idea that like you have to eventually end up with me, or you have to eventually see that the two of us are meant to be together. So they feel like you did love them, or they feel like this Queen of Pentacles will love them, and they're plotting and scheming anything that they can just to get that to happen. False twin flame. So there imagining this. It's not an actual connection. Yes, Peter. I do have all signs playlist options for you as well if you want to go to the channel, but most of the folks who watch my channel, either they're here because they like to make fun of my bad jokes, just kidding, or the message actually resonates for them. Others are very kind and are moderating for me and enjoy the tea, even though it's not their own story. So we have these karmics are 2s and 3s, and you're the one. Again, I don't want to consider any other options. I don't want to be told that you don't want me. I don't want to think that we won't end up together and this person's thirsty. They're feeling a little bit upset because the situation did not go well, and there was some embarrassment or some frustration for the Queen of Pentacles, especially if there was like an HR investigation or like an announcement, or people were asking like, hey, why did this change? I think it has at least got this High Priestess, the person who confessed their emotions, thinking that they did this the wrong way, but they're not willing to admit that maybe, just maybe, they're not going to end up with this Queen of Pentacles because the Queen of Pentacles doesn't like them. I do feel like they get blocked, and I do feel like they're going to try to use magic. They don't want to accept that the two of you won't end up together. I don't want to be a player no more. I'm ready to commit, and I'm going to confess everything. Interesting. So yes, this person is probably non-committal, and yet there's something about this situation that has led to their behavior being a little bit more extreme, or they're being a little bit more convinced that they're actually in love with someone. I don't know that I trust this person's take on the situation, because they have clearly leaned into ignoring reality in a couple different situations with this. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you everyone for the likes and the subscribes. Thank you for hyping the video if you're able.